Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This match is part of a highlight match of the CSL between USC and Rutgers. It's the fourth set on Chupung-Ryeong. Give a map reveal, and it's between Nesh and Day9. Day9 representing USC in the bottom left-hand corner as the yellow zerg upper right-hand corner. We have Nesh as the orange terran. Special shout-out to Zephyrix. He's my hero. Does so much for SC2GG. Updates our MSL tab. Keeps everything way up to date. He's a great guy. Nesh is one of those guys who I feel like he's been a bit overshadowed by Yosh and Artosis and Idra, and he really deserves to be recognized, I think, as one of the top-level Terran in the United States. On Team GNS, is a great player, friend of Oz. I think he's pretty good friends with Salve as well, and I think he should have actually... There's controversy with his recent run at the U.S. World Cyber Games. I won't get into that here, but suffice to say, I'm glad I can get a replay with him in it because he's a great Terran player. Going to have his hands full with Day9 though, and I've got to admit I'm going to be somewhat biased towards Day9. First of all, USC, Southern California, although I know the UC system and USC have a bit of rivalry, but I got to support my local guys. But I got to see Day9 actually at the SoCal LAN 2. It was really fun watching him play there. He's just such a creative player. First of all, very creative. Second of all, his multitasking is great. And third, I really like his micro. I think he's mostly known for his creativity and his builds and things like that. But his APM and specifically his multitasking is just through the roof. It's fun to watch. Looks like he's going to go for a 2-hatchery build. Usually I feel like Zerg players are kind of on the back foot on this map for several reasons. Looks like Nesh is being a little bit creative here. He's putting that barracks in the back of the map, the back of his base, I should say, just in case that if Day9 only sends this Overlord Scout, he's not going to see that barracks right off the bat. That could put him off a little bit, make him a little nervous, make him think there was a proxy barracks out in the field. Looks like he is setting out a drone as well, though, so not going to fall for it. But this map, Chupung-Ryeong, very difficult for Zerg players. Terran, you have your secondary, which is pretty easy to take and pretty easy to hold if you're a Terran player, because you've got pretty decent maneuverability, but you've got this backside edge, and for Zerg players that means additional Sunken colonies or additional troops that you have to guard that back edge with. And on top of that, when you're taking your additional base, where are you going to take it? It's just so far isolated from your main and from your natural, and on top of that you've got these corridors, which are just basically medic marine corridors if they want to take them, to go completely around the map almost unharmed. You can move huge troops across the middle here, so I feel like the Zerg player has to either take this ramp early with lurkers right up on the front door, or they just basically have to go for a lurker harass along this back line. If you can sneak some lurkers back here, you can kill a couple SCVs if you get lucky, if your opponents are really not looking for it here. Looks like Nesh has gotten that SCV scout. He's seeing the 12 hatch. He is in fact going for probably a fast expansion here. He hasn't put down that second barracks, and it looks like he's only produced a single marine. He's going to be pretty safe in doing that off the 12 hatchery build. Looks like a straight to a 3-hatchery build, so and a spawning pool is down, but it doesn't look like Zerglings being produced. Day9 going to go for a pretty large economy fairly quickly. Nesh should spot this, and he'll be fairly comfortable going with this fast expansion and being a little bit more going on the economics edge himself. Day9 going with this build, he should be able to keep up with his 3-hatch before. Well, usually 3-hatch before pools, the best economic build you can do for Zerg and really pull it off on a 2-player map that's somewhat risky. Otherwise, Nesh would have maybe run up, try to gotten a bunker down, put up some economic pressure. But with the 3-hatch and cheap on the Zerglings, I don't think Nesh is going to be too worried. He's already got the three Marines out on the front door, feeling pretty safe with that command center as well, and looks like he's going to get that gas down as well. Still hasn't put down that second barracks. Is looking pretty safe to do so, and looks like he's still got that SCV scout running. Just a couple Zerglings, so Day9 playing on the cheap. This SCV scout is going to be huge, because basically as long as this SCV scout stays alive and keeps an eye on particularly the Zergling count, Nesh is going to know whether he needs to get a bunker down or not, and that's going to be an investment. He's going to want to try to not... Basically, he doesn't want to invest in a bunker on his front door. He just wants to produce Marines. He just wants to produce barracks, and actually he's not putting down a second barracks, oddly enough, and he's already got the academy on the way. So, again, playing a little bit... I'm kind of curious about the reasons behind that. Maybe just wants to produce more SCVs on the cheap. Maybe wants to go a little higher level tech, and is going to... But I would expect him to be producing Marines out of that, so I'm kind of curious on that decision here. Second extractor going down for Day9, so and he's also upgrading the layer on that secondary. Nesh not able to see it because he's got this SCV pinned in. I think he is going to have comm set fairly quickly. It looks like still powering drones and obligatory creep colony already on that front door. But with this 2-gas, this layer build, we'll see what Day9's up to. We'll see if he decides to go lurkers off a pretty solid economy at this point. He's powered a lot of drones. A couple Marines on that front door, and it looks like a Firebat as well. A Firebat, no second barracks, and no medics alongside. So he might be going for a quick bunker break. Without medics, which would be kind of odd. Engineering bay is already up. Looks like Stim is already up as well. Single Zergling pushing up, and he is going to see this. This Overlord's going to catch it, as well as those Zerglings are going to see these Firebats and Marines already heading down. And one thing that this could do to Day9, it looks like, the Zergling. Yeah, Zergling coming up, and it looks like he's going to be able to take out one Marine on that back edge. But what this will do is Day9's going to have to put down additional creep colonies. So Nesh really abusing this map. He knows he's going to have to force Day9 to put a lot of creep colonies down, even though he doesn't have medics. Nesh is going to be held up short, but at the very least, he's forcing drones to be produced and basically drones to be invested in creep colonies, which is exactly what Day9 doesn't want to do. Looks like a Firebat still on that edge. And it looks like he's going to be able to take out an Overlord as well. So really going to the bonus, really hurting Day9's economy here into the mid-game. And a Queen's Nest already down. So we're seeing a Hydralisk Den. I'm not seeing any tech to lurker here, but a Queen's Nest to go quick hive off just 2 bases. And I don't think we're going to see Queens produced off this, just because I don't think they would be terribly effective. Maybe what we'll probably see, he can't do Ultralisk, just too large, but probably quick Defiler Lurker combination. To try to take an advantage in the mid-game, try to catch Nesh before he has really anything to deal with the Defilers. Looks like Nesh already has weapons 1 online, now getting those additional barracks in position. He's also got that bunker for a counterattack already on position. But Nesh also very intelligently, he's not reinforcing this contain, but if he gets this contain on Day9's front, Day9's going to have a lot of trouble breaking out of it. I think Day9 already knows it, and so he's going up to hive. Comsat, though, just going off, and I'm pretty sure that Comsat caught both areas because it was 2 Comsats over the secondary, over the main. So I think he got a pretty good look at that tech to hive. The question is how will he react? This is definitely unorthodox play from Day9, and this is why I love watching him, because he's always got these kind of crazy builds up his sleeve. And it looks like a 4th barrack now going down. No turrets to speak of, so I think he does know he's not going up against a Mutalisk build at this stage. And I'm kind of curious, what this hive is going to do. SCV sneaking this upper left-hand corner, a couple of Zerglings kind of chasing after it. But Day9 very troop light at this stage. Nesh not really supporting that contain at all, and he's still continuing to, looks like, just get his economy rolling. Let's see if he puts down that starport. And I think that'll be the key for him, is getting a quick starport down and a quick science vessel to really work against this, to get the irradiates out. Seeing an evolution chamber, I think he's seen the Queen's Nest as well. Maybe comsetting a second time just because he's somewhat confused. But I think we're going to see a Spines upgrade most likely, and I think these Hydralisks are going to morph into Lurker, and we're going to see that Defiler Hive combo off just 2 bases, and Day9 not going to be able to have a good shot at this bottom right-hand corner because that SCV already in the way, already kind of checking it out. So Nesh trying to keep Day9 to a small economy, but Day9's perfectly content to go to a small economy. It looks like he's getting a Defiler Mound up as well with a Spire. But the question is will he be able to hold off this attack? He's got more. Nesh sending the Marines now, still very light, and oh man, starport going up. So 2 starports out, maybe to produce just twice the number of science vessels. I don't think this has produced Wraith. Yeah, it's just to get the science vessels out as quickly as possible to deal with this Defiler on the front door. I think another thing that would really help is a large amount of Firebats at this stage, although this Spire will really help against those Firebats. I think Day9 knows it, but not a lot of medics out on this front field. That's going to really affect the potency of this attack force. On the front, looks like it's still Zergling checking out this 3rd base upper left-hand corner. Now it looks like the medic's starting to push that direction. Day9 has, looks like, some lurkers along this back edge. They're going to pull an end around. Go completely around the contain. I don't know that Nesh is really going to spot this off. He needs to comsat this to really have a good idea. Otherwise, he could just end up with too many troops on his front door, and this could be really key. It looks like some medic Marines are posted that back edge. He has comsatted at. He's bringing it looks like he's bringing these troops back. Consume just about finished. We'll see if a Defiler pops. There are already a couple Defilers headed that direction, but they're running right into a medic Marine force. But fortunately, before there's any detection, there's not a single science vessel out in the field, and Nesh has really spent a lot of of his comsats, already taking out 4 Marines right there. Looks like producing a dropship first. 2 dropships to catch Day 9 behind. He knows that with this small economy off just 2 bases, Day 9 trying to take an additional base in the bottom right-hand corner now. With this small economy, he's not going to have a lot of troops to be basically all over the field. I don't think there's any way he's going to be able to spot this or deal with these troops in the back of his base. Maybe if he does a simultaneous press, he'll be able to deal with it. But and also maybe he'll have that Spire and a couple Scourge out to help deal with it. He does have some lurkers out in the field, and the Defiler